Listen to me. I want you to listen very carefully, because what I am about to tell you is the difference between the life you currently live, a life of obscurity, a life of mediocrity, a life where you are begging for scraps, and the life of a king, the life of a top G, the life of a man who commands respect simply by walking into a room. I look at the world today and I see a tragedy. I see millions of men who have forgotten who they are, but more importantly, they have forgotten how to speak. And I don't mean grammar. I don't mean your vocabulary range. I don't mean how many books you've read. I mean the intent, the energy, and the reality that you project into the universe every time you open your mouth. You need to understand that the universe is a very sensitive mechanism. It listens to you. God is listening to you. The Matrix is listening to you. And the way you speak dictates exactly where you sit in the hierarchy of humanity. The way you speak decides your rank. Most of you are low rank, and you're low rank not because you're unlucky, not because you weren't born rich, not because of your genetics. You are low rank because you speak like a peasant. You speak like a victim. And because you speak like a victim, the world treats you like one. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy that you are writing every single day, sentence by sentence. When I hear a man talk, I know everything about him within 10 seconds. I know his bank balance. I know how much his woman respects him or doesn't. I know if he can fight. I know if he's a coward. I know if he's going to make it or if he's going to stay a nobody, all from the words he chooses. You guys wake up and the first thing you say is, I'm tired. You say, I don't want to go to work. You say, I hope today isn't hard. You are programming your own failure. You are telling your subconscious mind that you are weak. You are telling the world that you are prey. When you say, I hope, you are admitting you have no power. Beggars hope. Winners execute. Do you think I wake up and say, I hope? I never hope. I decide. I don't say, I hope I get a Bugatti. I say, I am getting a Bugatti. And then I do the work required to make that statement true. It is a binary difference. One is the language of a servant, waiting for the master to give him a crumb. The other is the language of a master, taking what is his by divine right and through the application of brute force and discipline. Rank is not just a title on a business card. Rank is spiritual. It is energetic. There are two types of language in this world. There is the language of the conqueror, and there is the language of the conquered. The conquered man speaks in complaints. He speaks in excuses. He explains why he can't do things. Oh, Andrew, I can't train today because my leg hurts. Oh, I can't start the business because the economy is bad. I can't approach that girl because I'm shy. Every time you say I can't, you are putting chains on your own wrists. You are locking yourself in a cage. You are submitting to the Matrix. The Matrix wants you to think you can't. They want you depressed. They want you anxious. They want you docile. And the easiest way to keep you docile is to teach you to speak the language of limits. The conqueror speaks the language of absolutes, the language of truth. When I was in jail, sitting in a Romanian dungeon, did I complain? Did I sit there and say, oh, this is unfair, I'm so sad? No. I looked at the walls and I said, I am the most disciplined man on the planet. I will leave this place stronger than I entered. God has put me here for a reason, and I will conquer this environment. My speech defined my reality. My rank remained top G, even inside a cell, because my rank is internal and it is projected outward by my words. You need to analyze every single sentence that leaves your mouth from this day forward. If you are watching this, you have a responsibility to eliminate the vocabulary of the loser. Words like maybe, try, wish, can't, hard, delete them. They are poison. They are the vocabulary of the bottom 99%. I'll try to get it done. No, you will get it done or you will die trying. Trying implies you are already preparing an excuse for when you fail. It gives you a soft place to land. As a man, you should not want a soft place to land. You should want the concrete. You should want the pressure. You should want the stakes to be so high that failure is not an option. When you speak with absolute certainty, people react to you differently. Women react to you differently. When you look a woman in the eyes and you tell her exactly what is going to happen, and then you make it happen, she trusts you, she respects you, she submits to your leadership because you have proven that your word is law. But if you are wishy-washy, if you are unsure, if you are constantly asking for permission, what do you think we should do? I don't know. Maybe we can go here. You are displaying low-rank behavior. You are showing her that you are not the captain of the ship. And if you're not the captain, why should she stay on board? The same applies to business. You walk into a meeting. Do you speak like a boss or do you speak like an employee? I was thinking maybe we could increase sales. No. We are going to increase sales, and this is how we are going to do it. The difference in energy is palpable. The difference in rank is established instantly. This goes back to the concept of self-accountability. I preach this constantly. If you are poor, it is your fault. If you are out of shape, it is your fault. If you are lonely, it is your fault. But the low-rank man uses language to deflect blame. It's the government. It's my parents. It's the market. He uses his words to build a shield around his ego so he doesn't have to face the reality that he is a loser. He protects his feelings with his speech. I don't care about your feelings. And the world doesn't care about your feelings. The rent is due whether you are sad or happy. The enemy is coming to take what you have, whether you are depressed or motivated. So why would you waste your breath speaking about how you feel? Speak about what you are going to do. I feel sad. Who cares? I am going to the gym. Good. That matters. You need to replace feeling words with action words. This shifts your rank from a sentimental child to a capable man. A man is defined by his competence, not his internal emotional state. If the building is on fire, nobody cares if the fireman is having a bad day. They care if he can kick the door down and carry them out. If you want to raise your rank, you must speak the truth. And the brutal truth is usually uncomfortable. Most of you lie to yourselves all day long. You look in the mirror and you say, I look okay. You don't. You look fat. You look lazy. You need to look in the mirror and say, I am a fat, lazy piece of trash, and I need to fix this. That is high-rank speech. Why? Because it is honest. It acknowledges the problem and demands a solution. You say, I'm doing okay financially. No, you're not. You're one emergency away from bankruptcy. You're a slave to a wage. Admit it. Say, I am a slave and I need to break these chains. The moment you speak the truth, you become powerful. The truth is the most powerful weapon you have. The matrix is built on lies. It is built on comforting delusions. Just be yourself. Size doesn't matter. Money doesn't buy happiness. Lies, all lies designed to keep you low rank. When you speak the truth, I need to be strong. I need to be rich. I need to be dangerous. You cut through the matrix programming. You declare yourself an enemy of the system because you are no longer willing to live in the delusion. Your rank is also determined by who you speak to. If you sit around with losers, talking about loser things, you will remain a loser. It is osmosis. You cannot become a lion if you are bleeding with sheep. Listen to the conversations of the average man. What do they talk about? Video games, sports teams that don't know they exist, celebrity gossip, other people. Did you see what he did? Did you see that game? They are spectators. They are watching life happen to other people. They are NPCs, non-player characters in the background of the movie. The high-ranked man talks about ideas. He talks about execution. He talks about the future. He talks about business. He talks about conquest. How do we take over this market? How do we get stronger? What is the next move? If you sit at a table and the conversation doesn't inspire you, doesn't challenge you, doesn't make you want to go out and work harder or at the wrong table, you need to leave. You need to find men who speak the language of excellence. I hold myself to a standard that is impossible for most people to understand. And that standard starts with my tongue. I do not allow myself to speak weakness. Even if I feel pain, I do not verbalize it as suffering. I verbalize it as training. This hurts. No. This is making me stronger. I'm tired. No, I'm testing my limits. Reframing. You reframe the reality with your words. You are the alchemist of your own life. You take the lead of suffering and you turn it into the gold of character. But you guys love to complain. You love the sympathy. You want people to say, oh, poor you. Sympathy is for women and children and dogs. A man does not need sympathy. A man needs respect. And nobody respects a complainer. Nobody respects a man who whines about the difficulty of life. Life is supposed to be difficult. That is the point. If it was easy, everyone would be a top G. If it was easy to have a six-pack and a Bugatti and a private jet, everyone would have them. The value comes from the difficulty. The scarcity creates the rank. So when you complain about the difficulty, you are effectively saying, I do not deserve the reward. You are saying this is too heavy for me. And if it's too heavy for you, put it down and go work at Starbucks. Go be invisible. But if you want the rank, you must embrace the burden. And you must speak of the burden with pride. I am carrying the heaviest load because I am the strongest man. That is the mindset. Think about the ancestors. Think about the men who came before you. Your bloodline goes back thousands of years. Men who fought tigers with sticks. Men who stormed beaches with machine gun fire raining down on them. Men who crossed oceans without maps. Do you think they stood there and said, I have anxiety? Do you think they said, I need a mental health day? They spoke of duty. They spoke of honor. They spoke of God. And that is the next point. You must speak with God on your side. You must understand that you are watched. Every word you say is a testimony. I am a man of God. I understand that my strength comes from a higher power. And because of that, I cannot speak weakness. To speak weakness is to insult my Creator. God made me in His image. He made me capable of greatness. If I walk around talking like a loser, I am spitting in the face of the gift I was given. You have a duty to be the best version of yourself. And that starts with the narrative you tell yourself in the world. I am a warrior. I am a provider. I am a protector. Say these things, believe these things, act on these things. You know, people ask me, Andrew, how do you stay motivated all the time? I don't need motivation. I have discipline. And I have a self-image that I refuse to betray. I've spoken my rank into existence. I have told the world I am the top G. Now I have to live up to it. It's a pressure I put on myself, and I love the pressure. If you tell everyone you're going to be a millionaire, you look like a fool if you don't do it. Good. Put yourself in a position where you look like a fool if you fail. Burn the bridges. Leave yourself no retreat. Most of you speak in a way that leaves the back door open. I'll try this business. And if it doesn't work, I'll go back to school. You have already failed. You have spoken failure into the plan. The high-ranked man says, I am going to make this work. There is no plan B. Plan B is to make plan A work. This is the level of conviction required to escape the gravity of the average life. The average life is a black hole. It wants to suck you in and crush you. It wants you to be fat, dumb, broken, compliant. It pulls on you every day. The only way to reach escape velocity is to have a thruster of absolute, undeniable willpower. And that willpower is fueled by your internal dialogue and your external speech. I want you to try a challenge. For the next 24 hours, you are not allowed to complain, not once. You are not allowed to say anything negative about yourself. You are not allowed to say, I can't. If it's raining, you don't say, what a shitty day. You say, the rain is watering the earth. Good. If you lose money, you don't say, I'm an idiot. You say, I just paid for a lesson. I will not make that mistake again. Watch how your mood changes. Watch how your energy changes. Watch how people look at you. When you stop complaining, you become dangerous. Because a man who does not complain is a man who cannot be broken. You can throw him in jail. You can take his money. You can attack him, and he will just look at you and say, is that all you got? That is the ultimate rank. Unbreakable. But you are fragile. You are fragile because your speech is fragile. You use words like trauma and trigger. You adopt the language of the weak. I'm triggered. No, you are emotional. Control yourself. I have trauma. We all have bad things happen. Get over it. Use it as fuel. Stop using the vocabulary of therapy and start using the vocabulary of conquest. The world was not built by men who sat around talking about their feelings. It was built by men who saw a mountain and said, I am going to climb that. It was built by men who saw an ocean and said, I am going to cross that. They didn't ask if it was safe. They didn't ask if it was easy. They declared their intent, and they accepted the consequences. The way you speak to your woman decides your rank in your relationship. If you ask her for permission, you are the child. She is the mother. Is it okay if I go out with the boys? What do you want to eat? Are you mad at me? Stop it. I am going out. I will be back at 10. We are going to eat steak. Get dressed. You seem upset. Fix your mood. Leadership. Direction. Certainty. This is what women crave. They don't want a partner who is as confused as they are. They want a rock. They want a man who speaks with the weight of authority. And the way you speak to other men decides your rank in the hierarchy. When you meet a man, look him in the eye. Speak clearly. Do not mumble. Do not look down. Shake his hand with a grip that says, I am here. If you mumble, if you look away, you are signaling submission. You are saying, I am below you. Please don't hurt me. It is primal. We are wearing suits. We are driving cars, but inside we are still cavemen. We are still wolves. And wolves know who the alpha is by the way he carries himself and the way he growls. Your voice is your growl. Make it deep. Make it steady. Make it count. There is a reason they call it spelling. You are casting a spell. Your words have magic. You can talk yourself into a depression. You can talk yourself into anxiety, or you can talk yourself into power. I choose power every single time. I wake up and I thank God for my life. I say, I am the luckiest man alive. I am the strongest man alive. Today is another day to prove it. Does that sound arrogant? I don't care. I would rather be arrogant and successful than humble and broke. I would rather be arrogant and strong than humble and weak. Humility is a virtue only if you have something to be humble about. If you are a loser, humility is just reality. If you are a killer, if you are a monster of competence, then humility is a choice. And even then, do not mistake humility for weakness. You need to understand that you are in a war. It is a war for your mind. It is a war for your soul. And the first line of defense is your speech. The enemy wants you to say, I give up. The enemy wants you to say, it's too hard. The enemy wants you to say, I am a victim. Do not give him the satisfaction. Even if you are losing, even if you're down 10-0, you look at the scoreboard and you say, I am just getting started. That is the spirit of a champion. That is the spirit of a top G. You have a choice today. You can turn off this video and go back to speaking like a peasant. You can go back to your friends and gossip and complain and talk about how unfair the world is, and you will stay exactly where you are. You will rot in obscurity. Or you can decide right now that your words are sacred, that you will only speak truth, strength, and ambition, that you will eliminate the vocabulary of the slave. If you do that, your life will change. It has to, because your actions will follow your words. You will become the person you say you are. So who are you? Are you a nobody? Or are you a king in waiting? The way you speak decides your rank. Speak wisely. I want everybody here to understand that this is not a game. This is not entertainment. I am not here to entertain you. I am here to wake you up. You have been asleep. You have been sedated by a society that hates you. They hate your masculinity. They hate your potential. They want you to be a consumer. They want you to be a battery for the matrix. And the first step to unplugging is to take control of your tongue. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Even the Bible tells you the Word create the life you want. Speak it. Believe it. Achieve it. There is no other way. This is the only path, the path of the struggle, the path of the glory. I see you. I see the potential in you, but I also see the laziness. I see the fear. Kill the fear with your words. I am not afraid. Say it. I am capable. Say it. I will not be denied. Say it. And then go out there and pay the rent, because the rent is due. every single day and understand what that means. No Monday mentality where you get fired up for 48 hours and then vanish into comfort. No New Year. New me fantasy where you wait for a calendar to give you permission to become dangerous. The rent is due when it's raining. The rent is due when you're sick. The rent is due when nobody claps for you, especially when nobody claps for you. Because real men are built in silence. Most people stay broke and weak because their effort is performative. They do one workout and post it. They read 10 pages and announce it. They say, I'm grinding like it's a personality trait. A high-ranked man doesn't broadcast. He delivers. Results speak. So make it practical. Starting now, your mouth becomes a weapon and your calendar becomes a contract. You wake up, you speak your orders, and then you execute them. No negotiations. No, I'll see how I feel. You don't ask emotions for permission. Emotions are weather. Discipline is climate. Write it down, 3 non-negotiables every day. Train, earn, improve. Even if it's small, it happens. 1 hour of training. 1 hour of focused money work. 1 hour of learning or building a skill. Do that for a year and you won't recognize your life. And your old identity will fight back. Let it fight. Let it die. Your voice is the steering wheel of your mind. If you whisper, your life becomes small. If you speak like a commander, your mind organizes itself around command. You stop drifting. You start aiming. When you catch yourself saying, I can't, replace it instantly with, I will find a way. When you catch yourself saying, I'm unlucky, replace it with, I'm responsible. When you catch yourself saying, they won't, let me replace it with, watch me. You're not just changing words, you're changing identity. And don't confuse this with being rude. This is certainty. Calm certainty is dominance. The world is full of loud, insecure men who talk big and fold under pressure, become the opposite, quiet, composed, lethal. A man whose yes means yes, and whose no means no. Stop over-talking. Stop justifying. Stop trying to be understood by people who haven't earned access. A king doesn't beg for comprehension. He gives direction. If people don't like it, they can leave. Loneliness is the tax you pay for rank. Train your voice like you train your body. Breathe from your stomach. Slow down. Let silence sit after your sentence. Silence is authority. You don't fill space because you're not afraid of losing attention. You don't chase approval because you don't need it. Practice it in the real world. Order your food without hesitation. State your decision without padding it with maybe. Walk into a room and greet people first, not with desperation, with presence. Head up, eyes forward, shoulders back. You are not asking the world for a seat. You are taking your place. And if you think, but what if I fail? Good. Fail fast. Fail forward. But don't fail quietly in your own head before you've even tried. That is cowardice. God gave you power. And you buried it because you feared embarrassment. Embarrassment is what children fear. Men fear regret. So here is your instruction tonight before you sleep. Look at yourself in the mirror and speak your oath out loud. I will not complain. I will not negotiate with weakness. I will do what must be done. Then sleep like a man who is at war with his old life. Tomorrow morning, you wake up, you pay the rent, and you do it again because the world doesn't respect promises. It respects proof. And when the doubt shows up, and it will, you don't argue with it. You treat it like a weak man at the door. You don't invite it in for tea. You say, not today. Then you move anyway. Action kills doubt. Momentum kills fear. And once you've stacked enough proof, your confidence stops being a feeling and becomes a fact. You have receipts, you have scars, you have discipline, and nobody can argue with a man who has done the work now.